Live from the tank on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet presents NCAA Division II women's basketball coverage. Tonight's matchup features the Lightning of Goldey-Beacom taking on the College of Staten Island Dolphins. Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, and for the first time here on CSI Sportsnet, I am joined by my broadcast partner, Andrew Rotundo. Andrew, welcome to the broadcast.
Joe, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be over on this side of the table. Usually doing public address, so I'm really excited to get going on this side of the table, see what's going on here.
Well, Andrew, you've done a great job on public address all year long. We're excited to have you on the broadcast, and we have a good one on tap tonight. The College of Staten Island coming in with a record of 2-4, taking on the Lightning of Goldey-Beacom. For the Dolphins, it will be the fifth time they have taken on an opponent from the CACC. So far, the Dolphins in those games dropped one in their second game of the season to Holy Family. They defeated Wilmington in their opener. They also defeated Nyack, and in their final game against that conference, the Dolphins also suffering a defeat in that game as well against Post University. So the Dolphins have had a mixed bag against the CACC, but in their last game for CSI, it was a struggle.
Yeah, definitely. They came out slow out of the gates. They only had 1 point up until the final minute or two of the first quarter. They didn't get their first basket until within the last minute of the first quarter. So they definitely got to come out a little bit quicker. They got to get their shots a little bit. Their shots. They got to be a little bit more accurate. They got to be a little bit more smarter. Passes have to be a little bit more smarter. They got to limit the turnovers to an extent. And they just got to come out of the gates really fast.
So for the Dolphins in their last game, they suffered a defeat to a conference rival, Malloy College. The Dolphins dropping that game by a score of 50-37. And as you mentioned, Andrew, it was a struggle for the Dolphins in the first quarter. Only 1 of 9 from the field. They did not score until there were 6 seconds remaining on the clock, or I should say, did not register their first made basket until there were 6 seconds left in the quarter. They did have points from the line, and despite the offensive struggles for the Dolphins in that game, it was not all bad, as the Dolphins did have one player who stood out at that end of the floor.
Yeah, Joe, that's Ashley Lambert, 18 points. She was 6 for 13 field goal, 4 for 8 from the 3-point line. So she's definitely a standout player in the last game, also amongst the other games as well. So they're going to look. The CSI Dolphins are going to look to her for a lot of their success as far as points go.
Well, Ashley Lambert, one of several newcomers to this Dolphins team. Jenelise Alarcon, Gia Esposito, just to name a couple others, Noemi Masinghe as well. And the Dolphins have been relying heavily upon many of those new players so far this season. But heading into their last game, it was a long layoff for the College of Staten Island. So I turn this question to you, Andrew. How could that layoff have affected this Dolphins team heading into that last game? And do you think there's a good chance that perhaps they've shaken off some rust heading into tonight's matchup?
I definitely think they shook off some rust. After the first quarter of the last game, Joe, they did come out a little bit stronger. I do believe in the second half, too. They came back a little bit, not enough, of course, but, I think that, with the short amount of time between games and going over what happened last game, I think they're going to come out very strong today, and I think they're going to shake the rust off, like you said, and they're going to put a good showing on today.
We will see if the Dolphins can step up their game at the offensive end of the floor. But now we'll turn our attention to CSI's opponent tonight, the Goldey-Beacom Lightning. They come in with a record of 3-6, but coming into tonight's matchup, Andrew, the Lightning have struggled.
Definitely. They've lost 3 in a row, 2 of those games being more than a 20-point deficit. So they're going to look to get started quickly as well. So I think we're going to see a back-and-forth game here. They're going to look to shake off the rust as well, get back in the win column. And they're going to look for early success in this one as well.
Well, in their last game, the Lightning taking on a regionally acclaimed program in U Sciences. They dropped that game, as you mentioned, Andrew, by over 20 points. But U Science is definitely a formidable opponent for the Lightning. And as I mentioned, they come in a member of the CACC. The Dolphins, of course, members of the ECC. But this Lightning team has some prolific scorers in their starting lineup. 2 that really stood out to us looking at the stat sheet ahead of tonight's game.
Yeah, and those 2 women, Brianna Seltzer, averaging 15.3 points per game, shooting just over 40% field goal, just over 30% at the 3-point line as well. You also have Alexis Harrison. She's just over 14 points per game, and she's over 60% field goal. So they're going to look to cover Alexis Harrison, as she's pretty good putting those balls in the bucket.
No doubt about that, Andrew. And, of course, the Dolphins really did struggle defensively in their last game against one player in particular, and that was Sophia Lee of Malloy College. She had herself a tremendous day, scoring the ball well from both inside the paint and on the perimeter. The Dolphins really had their hands full with Lee.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting a double-double is Sophia Lee. 16 points, 19 rebounds. Unbelievable stuff. And the Dolphins, just had their hands full with Lee, and that was one of the biggest problems they had with the defeat to Malloy.
Well, Lee gave the Dolphins fits all afternoon this past weekend, but not only did the Dolphins have their issues stopping Lee at the defensive end, but in that game they did struggle from the offensive end as well.
Definitely, Joe. Only scoring 37 points total the entire game. 2 of those quarters, they had less than 10 points. They need to shoot the ball. They only had one basket the entire first quarter. Like you said, it was only with 6 seconds left in the quarter. They need to shoot the ball a little bit smarter and from better areas.
Well, talking about shooting smarter and perhaps taking some better shots, the Dolphins in that last game only shot 25% from the field and 19% from beyond the arc. And I know we've been piling on with the Dolphins' issues here, but it wasn't only at the offensive end shooting a poor percentage and stopping Sophia Lee at the defensive end, but the Dolphins also had their issues on the glass as well.
Yeah, out-rebounded 52-35. That's a big margin for rebounds. You can't have that happen. You need to rebound the ball. You need to get underneath. You need to get those rebounds. You need to get those boards.
We also saw the Dolphins tinkering with their starting lineup a bit. CSI has gone with numerous combinations so far this season, but this Lightning team has come in having started the same 5 players in all 9 of their games. Does that perhaps play to the advantage of Goldey-Beacom heading into tonight's matchup?
I believe it could. If they're comfortable, they have a lot of chemistry, those 5. It could be very troublesome for the Dolphins. But also, they could be growing tired a little bit, having started all 5 of their games so far, all 9 of their games. And, they could look for a little bit of a change. Their chemistry could be decreasing a little bit, and they might need to get some new faces in their lineup to get it going here.
Well, I mentioned ahead of the Dolphins' last game, it was a long layoff for the College of Staten Island that perhaps hurt them heading into their matchup with Malloy. They dropped that game by 13 points. CSI will look to bounce back tonight against Goldey-Beacom. So Andrew and I will step aside and take a break at this time. We will come back right ahead of tonight's tip-off between the College of Staten Island and Goldey-Beacom. NCAA Division II women's basketball coming up next right here on the ECC Network.
NCAA Division II community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
When your car is damaged, where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447-4898.
Hi, Meals on Wheels.
I'm Marco. I'm a college student, and I volunteer as a driver for Meals on Wheels.
I think it's awesome meeting these people. I mean, they're so interesting. They've had so many wonderful experiences in life. Your community helps to raise you up into the person that you become. Meals on Wheels is a great way to give back to that community.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Stop to make sure someone is okay. Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Notify an authority.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates.
And learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor. It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Car is damaged, where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447-4898.
And we are back from the tank on the campus of the College of Staten Island. Joe Foreman alongside Andrew Rotundo making his CSI Sportsnet debut tonight as we bring you coverage of tonight's NCAA Division II women's basketball non-conference matchup between the Lightning of Goldey-Beacom College and the College of Staten Island Dolphins. The starters are being introduced out on the floor right now, and I have those starting lineups for you. First, for the visiting Lightning of Goldey-Beacom College, it will be number 2, Monet Izumi, number 11, Sarah Round, number 24, Brianna Seltzer, number 30, Janiyah Stevens, and number 33, Alexis Harrison. For the College of Staten Island, their starters are as follows. Number 3, Noemi Amasinghe. Number 4, Kaya Johnson. Number 13, Jenelise Alarcon. Number 14, Elizabeth LaFaro. And number 15, Christina Arvello. The Dolphins are coached by Nicole Sarcone, and the Lightning are coached by Beth Ann Burke.
A 5'7" guard from Brooklyn, New York, number 4.
As I mentioned during the pregame, the Dolphins come in with a record of 2-4. They dropped their last game just this past weekend against Malloy College in conference play. Of course, the Dolphins, members of the East Coast Conference. The Goldey-Beacom College Lightning come in a member of the CACC. They are 3-6 on the season and have dropped their last 3 games. So for the Lightning, they will be looking to get things right tonight as well. And Andrew, which of these teams do you see coming out early, stronger, trying to get back on track, as the Dolphins, of course, suffered a tough defeat in their last game, but the Lightning have suffered 3 straight defeats. They also have a lot to try and bounce back from tonight.
Yeah, Joe, I think the Lightning are going to come out very strong today. You know, they've lost 3 in a row, and by big margins, too. So, you know, I think they're going to come out very strong. They're going to give the Dolphins a problem, but Dolphins, they came out with a tough loss as well last time out. But I think they're going to light a fire today, and I think they're going to come out strong, too. So I think it's going to be a very tight start here in the first quarter.
Both of these teams looking to rebound from a difficult loss or perhaps a difficult stretch of games in the case of Goldey-Beacom. As we get set to begin tonight's non-conference matchup from the College of Staten Island. It will be Harrison and Masinghe jumping for the opening tip. And it goes to Alexis Harrison and Goldey-Beacom College. They will possess the ball first. Lightning have it, left wing. This is Seltzer working against Lizzie LaFaro. Back up top to Izumi. She drives, looks to feed it inside, and a tight window to try and get that pass to Harrison, who was fouled.
Yeah, and she couldn't really get up there, and so the foul ensues, and that's our first one of the game.
And they're going to rule that foul was in the act of shooting. So Noemi Amasinghe picks up her first personal foul, and that sends Alexis Harrison to the line. We mentioned her as one of the 2 leading scorers on this Lightning team during the pregame. She goes 1 of 2 from the line, but the rebound is tipped and into the hands of Sarah Round. We mentioned Harrison during the pregame, shooting 63% from the floor as the first outside shot attempted by Goldey-Beacom off the mark, saved by Jennalise Alarcon and the Dolphins.
Good start defensively by the Dolphins.
That is LaFaro on the drive, and she throws up a wild shot. Bringing it up is Brianna Seltzer. This is Izumi up top to Sarah Round. Now Seltzer inside for Stevens. Kick out to Izumi. Three-pointer too long. Fight for the board, and it goes to Jennalise Alarcon. That is Kaya Johnson with the mid-range pull-up.
Kaya Johnson.
And she knocks it down. And the Dolphins come away with an early steal. Johnson from Alarcon, and a blocking foul is called underneath.
And this is a fast-paced start here. And let's see how the Dolphins come away with their first 2 free throws.
Kaya Johnson heads to the line for 2 shots as Monet Izumi picks up her first personal foul and the first team foul for Goldey-Beacom. Just over 1.5 minutes into the first quarter. Johnson's free throw way off. Dolphins getting on the board early in this game. Could not say the same last time out against Malloy. As we highlighted and mentioned several times during the pregame, it took nearly the full 10 minutes for the Dolphins to register their first made field goal against the Lions back on Saturday. Johnson gets them their first made shot early in this one and goes 1 of 2 on this trip to the line.
A little bit of a faster start here today for the Dolphins, so let's see how they capitalize and let's see if they keep it going.
Lightning looking to work it inside once again, as unable to convert on the left-handed layup was Harrison. Good defense inside by Masinghe, who looked to run the floor. And she will kick it back out to LaFaro. And Masinghe got her fingertips on that one as the harassing defense from the Lightning forces a Dolphins turnover.
A little bit of bad luck there for the Dolphins as they try and get it going for a basket. Goes off the fingertips and back the other way.
3-1 our score, just over 2 minutes into the first quarter. This is Round over to Stevens. Now Seltzer into the corner for Izumi. Izumi drives, pull up. No, she looked to pass, and that may have been a mistake as Izumi had some space. Harrison wasn't ready for the pass, and that will be a Lightning turnover as they make their first substitution of the game.
Some great tight defense here to start by the Dolphins today. Only allowing 1 point here in the first 2-some minutes.
And the Dolphins turn it over, but get the ball right back off of that miss by Izumi. That last substitution saw Vera Lahaloma enter the game for the Lightning as once again Kaya Johnson knocks down a mid-range pull-up.
Kaya Johnson again off to a great start here today. It's been all Kaya Johnson, 5 points.
Kaya Johnson 5, Goldey-Beacom 1. Just shy of 3 minutes into quarter number 1 as getting her first look inside was Lahaloma, and she banks it in.
And that's something the Lightning needed, but the Dolphins need to keep the momentum up. They've got some high momentum to start this game in their direction, so they need to keep it going and not lose it.
This is Masinghe on the inside, and a tough two-handed bank shot from under the rim. Very awkward-looking shot there by Masinghe, but she got it to go, and the Dolphins lead 7-3.
That was a skilled shot there by Masinghe.
That attempt from the corner is good by Sarah Round.
And now the Lightning getting going here, so a little back-and-forth action.
The offense picking up for both sides. The Dolphins 3 of 4 from the field, and the Lightning now 2 of 6 after that last make as they force another CSI turnover. That makes 3 for the Dolphins early in this game, not even 4 minutes into the first quarter. That's Round on the drive, kicks it out into the corner. Down goes Seltzer as her three-pointer was a bit too long. Lizzie LaFaro brings it across center court for CSI, her team leading by 2. This is Arvello for 3 from the right wing. That's short. And here comes Izumi looking for some help on the fast break, and the Lightning will have to slow it down. 3 jab steps by Seltzer, who then travels. And we have another substitution incoming for the Lightning as Mickey Williams takes the floor for the first time.
Fortunate play for the Dolphins here. They're going to have to capitalize. Up 2 points here, almost halfway through the first quarter.
This is Johnson. Gets a screen from Masinge and was double teamed. Now Masinge finds a wide open Arvello for 3. And once again, that one just short off front rim. And we have a collision underneath as LaFaro and Harrison came together in the paint. LaFaro charged with the foul, her first and the team's second. Lexi Weichert checking into the game for Goldey-Beacom at that last horn. Dolphins still going with their starting 5 as I think we had a second substitution as well for Goldey-Beacom. That's Azuri Abraham entering the game. She wears number 23. This is Williams receiving the kick-out pass from the inside. Now they work it down into the corner. On the drive, that's Seltzer, and a nice feed underneath for Lahaloma, and Lahaloma quickly has 2 baskets. Score now tied at 7.
Great play underneath. Dolphins need to get it going here. Need to get back to that quick start that they had.
Lahaloma with 4 quick points off of the Goldey-Beacom bench as we have an offensive foul underneath. Jenelise Alarcon whistled for the charge as going down on the play was Weichert. She drew the foul, and inside of 5 minutes, I believe we should have a media timeout upcoming. And we do. So Andrew and I will take our first break. Dolphins and Lightning tied at 7 just over 5 minutes into the first quarter.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island. Be sure to check out the Kettle Black's monthly calendar of events, only at kettleblackbar.com.
And we're back from the tank as you got a blast from the past during that last commercial break as the August 2019 Kettle Black event schedule is still lingering at the end of that advertisement. But here in 2021 on this Monday night in December, the Dolphins and Lightning are tied at 7, and good harassing defense there by Alarcon, nearly forcing a turnover. And we talked about it ahead of the start of tonight's game, Andrew. We expected both of these teams to come out with a fire lit underneath them as the Lightning come in struggling, the Dolphins come in off of a tough loss. What have you liked that you've seen from both teams so far?
The ball movement on at least the Dolphins side has been definitely better. As you see, obviously 7 points already in the first half of this first quarter. And we allude back to last game when they only had 1 point up until the final minute. So the ball movement and the shooting is definitely a little bit smarter.
That last miss from 3 was by Mickey Williams, but the Dolphins could not secure the rebound. And that was Brianna Seltzer throwing up an air ball, but once again, the Lightning grabbed the offensive board. That pass into a lot of traffic for Lahaloma, and she couldn't convert, but Johnson is nearly trapped on the baseline. She escapes. Here comes Alarcon, Ashley Lambert wide open in the corner for three, and the Dolphins throw up an air ball. Ugly shooting these last few seconds.
Inside, the shooting has been good. Outside, not so much.
Well, to your point, Andrew, the two teams are combined 0 of 8 from beyond the arc as La Haloma scores underneath yet again. And she very quickly has 6 points off the Lightning bench. Lambert trapped at center court, but now the Dolphins have numbers. This is Johnson, and she definitely traveled there.
And that's an unfortunate play there as the Dolphins trying to get back on the scoreboard here. Haven't had a basket in a few minutes here. And now they've given up the lead, the Lightning lead for the first time.
A couple of players coming in off the Goldey-Beacom bench. Zuri Cannon coming into the game, along with Jordan Gardner. That was Cannon sending it over to the right wing for Wykert. This is Williams, and she travels.
And they give it right back.
Some sloppy play coming out of that last media break as the two teams have now combined for 9 turnovers. Dolphins will inbound from the sideline. This is Lambert looking for somewhere to go with it. Now Johnson receives the inbound pass. She will bring it up.
I think it's safe to say the Dolphins need a basket here and get this game tied up.
That's a tough shot attempted by Johnson as Brianna Moore dives down to the floor, and that will result in a jump ball called, and the Dolphins will keep possession. Great hustle by Brianna Moore, who just checked into the game after that last media timeout. This is Arvello. 12 to shoot. She was looking for more on that pass. Moore rips it away, takes it inside, and is fouled.
Great play by Moore. Some great strength to get inside, and she draws the foul, and she's going to get 2 shots here.
Brianna Moore, by far, has the best size of any Dolphin. She stands 6'1". No other Dolphin exceeding 5'9". So Moore using that size and strength underneath to get to the free throw line, but she misses the first.
Free throws are important too. They're going to have to start hitting these free throws to stay in this game here.
Well, Nick and I have discussed it during past broadcasts how in a couple of those Dolphins comebacks early in the season, they were able to get back into games on the back of free throws with the clock stopped, getting to the line, and shaving points off of their deficit in games against Wilmington and then again against Nyack. So the Dolphins really rely upon getting to the line, especially when their shots from the outside aren't falling.
And today they haven't had much luck from the line, that the chances they have had.
That could come back to hurt them later as once again Williams tries a 3. It's short. Moore able to find Arvello. The Dolphins now may have a chance to push as the Lightning do get back on defense, and CSI will run their half-court offense. Arvello for Johnson. Defended by Williams. Now Moore up top. 10 to shoot. This is Lambert, and she was fouled. That foul was charged to Jordan Gardner, her first. Sarah Round back into the game, along with Alexis Harrison. So we mentioned this Dolphins team, perhaps coming into their last game with some fresh legs, having not played in nearly 2 weeks, but the Lightning keeping their players fresh by constantly sending players on and off the court. This is Johnson with another mid-range shot, and Kaya Johnson has shown just how good she is from the mid-range.
And that was a clutch basket. They needed that. And who else? Kaya Johnson. 7 of the 9 Dolphins points so far here.
Johnson has been huge in this first quarter for CSI. You said it, Andrew. 7 of the 9 points. She is 3 of 4 from the field as Harrison was whistled for the offensive foul. A tough call off of the catch. But for Harrison, that will be her first, if I'm not mistaken, and the 4th team foul.
Very, very fortunate call for the Dolphins. Let's see if they can capitalize and get the lead back here.
Correction, number 32, Jordan Gardner, 2nd personal foul.
So a correction as the foul is changed. Gardner was called for the foul. She quickly has 2 off of the bench. So Harrison was not whistled for the foul on the catch. It was Gardner who committed the foul. Score tied at 9. 1:20 remaining on the clock as Johnson ran straight out of bounds. She claims she was pushed but will not get the call.
And just ran out of space along the sideline there.
Another substitution for Goldey-Beacom. As Kanissa Tucker enters the game. Lizzie LaFaro back in for Staten Island as well as once again Alexis Harrison with an easy basket underneath.
Alexis Harrison for 3.
And Alarcon throws it away.
And the Lightning seem to be using that tactic, like you alluded to earlier, of the fresh legs, as there's been a lot of substitutions here already in the first quarter for them.
Fortunately for the Dolphins, that last ball was tipped. But to your point, Andrew, I'm actually shocked at how often the Lightning have rotated players in and out. I'm not sure I've seen a team with a rotation of this many players so early in a game.
They seem to be utilizing every single player, starting lineup or bench, in some sort of important role.
And once again, the Lightning grab an offensive rebound off of their own air ball, but Harrison travels. As the two teams.
And these traveling calls won't let up here in the first quarter, as both teams called multiple times.
Both teams have been very sloppy with the basketball, as I was about to say. 6 turnovers each in the opening quarter, as the Lightning commit their 5th team foul. So Dolphins will get the benefit of free throws with 33.8 remaining in the opening quarter. And Ashley Lambert heads to the stripe for 2.
Another chance at the line for the Dolphins. Something they need to capitalize on here to get this game tied up.
Well, a chance to even up the score right here for Lambert as she knocks down the first free throw. And Lambert goes 2 of 2 from the line. Our score knotted up at 11. Lambert came into tonight's game 17 of 19 from the free throw line. That's Round on the drive, kick out to Seltzer. Left wing 3 attempted by Tucker. No good. Another offensive rebound for Goldey-Beacom. They have the last shot if they want it, but Harrison takes it right to the rim and can't convert on the reverse layup through contact. She will head to the line for 2.
It's offense foul number 12, Brianna Moore. First personal foul, 4th team foul.
Dolphins foul charge to Brianna Moore, her first, the team's 4th.
Could have waited a little longer to shoot that ball, excuse me, Joe. But they decided to go up and take the foul instead, so they get the free throws here.
Tough to pass up a look from that deep in the paint. But now the Dolphins may have a chance to take the lead. We'll see. Under 10 seconds to go in the first quarter. This is Lambert in the corner. Bounce pass inside to Moore. Working against Harrison. Throws up a wild shot. And Alarcon with an even more out-of-control attempt on the follow. No good. Dolphins will head into the second quarter, trailing by 1. Our score after the first 10 minutes, 12-11 in favor of Goldey-Beacom College. More NCAA Division II women's basketball when we come back from this break.
As a student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA at the national level. It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experiences possible.
And we're back from the College of Staten Island. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside Andrew Rotundo with the call of tonight's NCAA Division II women's basketball matchup. Goldey-Beacom College leading the College of Staten Island 12-11 after 1 here on the ECC network, as once again we have another turnover, this time by the Lightning to open up the second, as the Dolphins now looking to run. This is Masinge from LaFaro, and Masinge finishes.
And that was a great opening drive there by the Dolphins. They get the defensive play, and they come back and they get the 2 points for the lead. So great opening play here by the Dolphins in the second quarter.
Dolphins nearly coming away with another steal, as CSI wasted no time getting back out in front in the opening seconds of quarter number 2. This is Round looking for Harrison, and the Dolphins are not going to allow Harrison to receive any more of those entry passes, as once again the Dolphins running the break to perfection, and that will prompt a timeout from Goldey-Beacom.
Wow, what a start to the second quarter for the Dolphins, as they take the lead quickly with 2 baskets off of 2 great defensive plays on 2 turnovers. So Goldey-Beacom seemingly needs to wake up here in the second quarter, down 3 quickly.
Defense leading to offense. We'll see if the Dolphins can keep things going on the other side of this quick break. CSI leading Goldey-Beacom 15-12.
Car is damaged, where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447-4899.
And we're back from the tank start of the second quarter, as we are less than 1 minute into quarter number 2, with the Dolphins very quickly jumping out to a 3-point lead, as the Lightning continue to pile up the turnovers for Goldey-Beacom. They now have given the ball away 8 times, the Dolphins 6, so neither team has done a good job protecting the basketball, but right now it is the Dolphins benefiting from a pair of early Lightning turnovers in the second.
Huge turnovers they were, and they convert both times for points, which is huge for the Dolphins, now up 3.
As the Lightning throw up yet another air ball. We've seen a lot of those so far in the early going, as Alarcon gets the roll, and a nice feed once again from Lizzie LaFaro.
What a pass, LaFaro with the laser vision down low for another 2 points for the Dolphins.
And to your point, Andrew, the Dolphins making the most of the Goldey-Beacom turnovers. CSI with 7 points off turnovers, the Lightning with only 2. As a missed 3-pointer leads to yet another offensive rebound, and La Haloma able to find the cutting Tucker for the and 1. Kanissa Tucker heads to the line for 1 more.
Yeah, she uses that strength down low to get up and into the basket there, and she also draws the foul.
A nice strong move from Tucker off the pass from La Haloma.
It's the Dolphins' first team
for Ashley Lambert. That was her first personal. Also the team's first of the second quarter. Dolphins in front by a pair. 8:20 on the clock in quarter number 2. As Arvello nearly lost the handle. Harassing defense from Round results in another Dolphins turnover.
And the turnovers racking up on both sides.
Really remarkable. 15 between the two teams. Less than 2 minutes into the second quarter. This is Harrison. Takes it inside. Nearly got stripped. Now La Haloma picks up her dribble on the baseline. Seltzer has it with 10 to shoot. Seltzer drives to her right all the way to the rim, and she finishes the layup.
Very nice play there to get the game tied up by Seltzer.
The Dolphins coaching staff asking their team what that was, as CSI let Seltzer take it straight to the hoop for an uncontested finish. This is Lambert. Round continuing to harass the ball handler as LaFaro looks to drive, and she dribbled it off of her foot. It will be Lightning basketball.
And momentum seems to be swinging here in the second quarter. between both sides, between the turnovers and the baskets here. Quick back and forth play.
We have another tie. The two teams even at 17. Once again, the Lightning determined to work it inside to Harrison, and that pass was deflected by the Dolphins as Harrison looked to get it to the outside. This is Lambert, deep two in the corner, rattles out, rebounded by Seltzer. Seltzer surveys the floor. That one almost got away from Round. She's defended by Arvello with 15 on the shot clock. Round drives baseline, pulls up, that shot short, and rebounded by Masinge.
Some good defense being put on display here by the Dolphins, not really allow much down low for the Lightning.
Kick out to LaFaro. Open three-pointer. No good. But the Dolphins continue to show us some of that good ball movement that you mentioned early on in the first, Andrew.
And it's what's keeping this game close, is neither team's been able to pull away just yet. Here with 6 minutes remaining in the second quarter, still tied.
As Harrison lost the handle. Now, I think she believed that it was going to be Dolphins basketball. Perhaps she knew she was coming off the floor as Harrison heads to the bench. Weichert back into the game for Goldey-Beacom, and Janiah Stevens also back onto the floor. This is Seltzer left open for three. And once again, no good from downtown, as throwing that one away was Stevens. Here comes LaFaro. LaFaro against Seltzer, and she is able to bank it in.
And once again, they convert on the turnover, and they end up taking the lead. And once again, great play by the Dolphins on both sides of the court there.
That's 9 points off turnovers for CSI. That was the 10th Lightning turnover, and that last missed three-pointer by Goldey-Beacom continues their struggles from beyond the arc. They are now 0 of 10 from three-point range in this game.
12, her first personal foul. First team
Dolphins
foul.
also without a three-pointer. They're 0 of 4. However, CSI shooting about 44.5%. The Lightning down under 30%. So perhaps Goldey-Beacom a bit fortunate to be trailing by only 2 points heading into this break, as with 5:42 on the clock, we have a timeout. Dolphins leading by 2 when we come back.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
And we're back from the College of Staten Island. Dolphins leading the Lightning by 2 with 5:42 to go in the first half. CSI inbounding as Johnson brings it across half court. Lightning have been pressuring the ball handler quite a bit in this game, not really allowing the Dolphins to get settled in at the offensive end, but points off of turnovers, points in transition have propelled the Dolphins to the lead here in the second. That was Masinge on that last miss, and the Lightning once again trying to get the ball inside, the Dolphins having none of it. This is LaFaro, and she throws one off glass. No good. Lightning might be looking to run once again. This is Seltzer, and she will slow things down.
Goldey-Beacom has to be in the double digits with turnovers at this point, and it's just unbelievable.
They certainly are in double digits, as that's another wild shot, way off the mark, but another offensive rebound to the Lightning, resulting in a missed three. That's 0 of 11 from downtown for Goldey-Beacom. However, they have 9 offensive rebounds. They have attempted 6 more shots than CSI, as Noemia Masinge weaving her way through traffic and finishes a tough shot in close.
Great bucket by Masinge there, cutting in deep and taking it right to the hoop, getting the 2 points the Dolphins needed there.
This is Weichert on the outside, and once again, an entry pass is stolen. Here comes Alarcon, and she blows the layup before Johnson commits a foul on the body check of Weichert.
Let's see if the Dolphins are going to be able to pull away here.
Johnson. First personal foul.
They need a big defensive stop, and they need to come back and get another bucket. With 4 minutes remaining here in this first half, still only just a 4-point game.
This is Seltzer working it along the perimeter. That's Julie McCarron in the game, wearing number 22, as the Lightning turn it over yet again. Here come the Dolphins. This is Masinghe. And Masinghe throws one up and in off of the Euro step. Noemia Masinghe beginning to heat up.
What a skilled shot by Masinghe, and she's heating up now, putting the Dolphins up 6.
4 of 5. She now leads CSI in scoring with 8 points. As we have a whistle along the baseline. And Kaya Johnson is charged with the foul.
Dolphins foul, number 4.
As it looks like the Lightning will try some mass substitutions to try and get things right and shift the momentum of this game. They now trail by 6.
Going back to the tactic of the quick substitutions and the fresh legs on the court. Try and get back in this game.
On the drive, that was Seltzer. It is stifled by the Dolphins. And another offensive rebound goes to Goldey-Beacom. That time it was Harrison. And once again, she is fouled underneath and will head to the line for 2.
Dolphins foul number 15. Christina Arvello, first personal foul, 4th team foul.
Goldey-Beacom with 10 offensive boards in the game. Out-rebounding CSI 22-14. And you mentioned it during the pregame, Andrew. The Dolphins out-rebounded 52-35 in their last game. And right now, those second opportunities are keeping the Lightning close.
Definitely in the lead. And like you said, all the offensive boards that the Lightning have, they still don't have a three-pointer yet, so they can't really keep it going after the offensive board.
Second chance points favoring Goldey-Beacom as they have 6, and the offensive rebounds have allowed for that to be the case. As right now, the difference in the score is 5, so without those second chance points, Goldey-Beacom would be down double figures as Arvello will try another open 3, and that is good from the left corner. Christina Arvello gets on the board for CSI, and they now have a game-high 8-point lead.
Nothing but net there, and that's a huge 3 for the Dolphins.
As the Lightning finally get it inside to Harrison, who banks in that last shot. Dolphin lead trimmed back down to 6. This is Arvello, met by Round, double teamed in the corner, down to the floor, and jump ball is the call. Possession will belong to the Lightning. As Brianna Moore will check into the game. And the officials confer and will award the Dolphins possession on that last jump ball. So the possession arrow apparently was not switched.
And I thought something was faulty about that play. Thought maybe Dolphins should have had the ball there.
As they will also have the shot clock adjusted to 17 seconds. So a change in the call and ensuing adjustment of the shot clock gets us set to resume play. 2.5 minutes to go in the first half as Johnson looks for somewhere to go with this pass. She has more, and she is stuffed by Harrison.
Big block for the Lightning.
Wide open 3 for Sarah Round, and we finally have our first Goldey-Beacom three-pointer shortly after Christina Arvello made the first 3 of the game for the Dolphins.
Goldey-Beacom's going to surely keep going off of that, so the Dolphins need to answer and need to get the lead back higher than 3.
Yes, there's a great-looking possession for the Dolphins as they work the ball inside, hitting Ashley Lambert on the cut, and she finishes the layup to put the Dolphins back ahead by 5. And Lightning cough it up yet again, but nearly are able to take it back. Moore is stripped down on the floor, and she gets rid of it to Masinge. Great effort. As we will take a look at the call, and they will say the Dolphins had possession of the ball, so that's a 10-second violation. And we'll see if they decide to take a look at that. Hopefully we have it on replay. I'm not sure if we caught it in time. The officials conferring, and they signal for the replay. So I'm going to step aside for just a moment and help Andrew through this one as the officials will take a look. Okay, so what you see on your screens right now is what the officials are looking at. They are trying to determine when the Dolphins secured possession ahead of a shot clock reset, and it appears they are satisfied and have found exactly what they are looking for, as it was determined that Moore had possession. The shot clock was correctly reset to 30 seconds, and the Dolphins failed to get the ball across half court in 10 seconds after that. So great job by Andrew Rotundo, doubling as my engineer tonight. As he helped walk the officials through that last replay, I gave him a bit of an assist, but Andrew did all of the heavy lifting, so a great job by Andrew, who once again is making his Sportsnet debut tonight here on the ECC network. So busy man here in the first half.
Appreciate that, Joe. Had to get that replay. Had to see who had the ball. It was a very important call. So I had to make sure that was under control.
And we have a whistle and a foul, which if it was against the Dolphins is their 5th, and it is. So the Lightning in the bonus situation with just under a minute and a half to go in the second.
And it's still a close game, so the Dolphins are going to need to watch it for the final minute and about a half here in this first half with the fouls.
Round to the line, hits the first. And she goes 2 for 2 from the stripe, as the scoreboard a bit delayed here in the building. So on your screen, you will see that reflected as the score is correct, 28-25. Lola Plamenko into the game for CSI, as the Lightning will employ a full court press here. This is Plamenko. Tried to hand it off to Masinge as the Dolphins nearly turn it over. Plamenko now looks to drive, goes down. Johnson to Moore underneath. And Moore can't finish. It's knocked away by Harrison and rebounded by Goldey-Beacom. .18 on the shot clock as Seltzer kicks it into the corner for a round. Open 3 rolls off the rim. Rebounded by Harrison. And another offensive board for the Lightning leads to 2 more second chance points.
Big second chance points they were for Goldey-Beacom, making it now just a 1-point game.
And Moore could not save it as the Dolphins look to push it ahead. Another CSI turnover now gives Goldey-Beacom a chance to get back in front. And who would have thought they'd have a chance to do that just a few short minutes ago? At least do that before the half, as they were struggling with turnovers, but have righted the ship, and now a chance to take the lead, and they do. As Petita Rojana Suntan with the lay-in on the floater. Dolphins have the last shot if they want it.
And they need to make it a smart one if they want the lead before the half.
Rojana Suntan just came in off the bench for Goldey-Beacom as the Dolphins turn it over and will head into halftime trailing by a single point, as that one was nearly banked in, but I don't think the shot was put up in time. So at the half, Goldey-Beacom leading the College of Staten Island 29-28. When we come back, the final 20 minutes of this NCAA Division II women's basketball non-conference matchup right here on the ECC Network.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
When your car is damaged, where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447-4898.
Hi, Meals on Wheels. I'm Marco. I'm a college student, and I volunteer as a driver for Meals on Wheels. I think it's awesome meeting these people. I mean, they're so interesting. They've had so many wonderful experiences in life. Your community helps to raise you up into the person that you become. Meals on Wheels is a great way to give back to that community.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dine-in order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here. I've got your back.
when you want to talk, I'm here.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends, live sports and watch parties, to Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we are back from the College of Staten Island. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside Andrew Rotundo. The Dolphins trailing at the half. CSI behind 29-28 as the Dolphins led for much of that first half, Andrew. But things really began to get a bit out of control for them down the stretch in that first half.
Yeah, they kept it going early on. They were shooting better than the last game. But you know what? The key to this game so far has been turnovers. There has been so many turnovers between both sides. 11 turnovers from the Dolphins, and it's just been unbelievable. 11 turnovers is incredible.
Well, those turnovers caused things to get very sloppy down the stretch in the first half, and that really overshadowed a half where the Dolphins shot the ball pretty well. They got good contributions at the offensive end from several players, but much improved shooting from their last game against Malloy, and Noemi Masinga also stepped up in that first half as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Masinga was a key force in that first half for the Dolphins. 8 points, 4 rebounds, and also another name to look at, too, Kaya Johnson. She was very well early, totaling 7 points in the half. So if they can keep going with their offense, everybody else follows. Dolphins should be able to come back and grab this one.
CSI shot 44% in the first half, only 1 of 5 from beyond the arc, but much worse from downtown for the Lightning. They really struggled shooting from the outside.
Yeah, the Lightning, an unbelievable 1 for 13 3-point. I believe they were at 0 for 11 at one point in that first half until they finally made a three-pointer, shooting just 34.4% field goal, and they find themselves up a point. So it's more against those. It's more about that second chance opportunity for the Lightning so far, and they've been lucky in that department.
They sure have, as the Lightning in that first half grabbed 11 offensive rebounds, leading to 7 second chance points. They have been all over the offensive glass, making things very difficult on the Dolphins, and a big part of the Goldey-Beacom success down the stretch in that first half was Alexis Harris.
Yeah, Alexis Harris. She had 9 points, 6 rebounds. She was a very big force for the Lightning, hard to stop for the Dolphins in that first half, and she's going to need to be stopped if the Dolphins want any chance at this one, as you bet she's going to continue in this second half to shine.
The Lightning closing out the first half strong. The Dolphins will look to bounce back following a tough end to half number 1. We'll see if they can slow Harris and this Goldey-Beacom offense down. When we come back from this break, Dolphins and Lightning, second half, coming up next. And we are back from the tank. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside Andrew Rotundo for the second half of tonight's NCAA Division II women's basketball non-conference matchup between the College of Staten Island and Goldey-Beacom College. The Dolphins trailing by 1 entering the third quarter as the Lightning closed out the first half very strong at both ends of the floor, forcing numerous Dolphins turnovers, and they were all over the offensive glass, as we mentioned during the halftime break, Andrew.
Yeah, and the turnovers need to come to a stop, as on both ends, it's just been incredible the amount of turnovers that have happened thus far, and it's actually, I believe, one of the key reasons why this game is so close. It's just been so back and forth with the turnovers.
Well, you mentioned the Dolphins' 11 first-half turnovers during that brief halftime show. 26 combined turnovers between the two teams, as the Lightning had 15. The Dolphins scoring 14 points off of the Goldey-Beacom turnovers, and the Lightning scoring 8 off of CSI turnovers, as the first basket of the second half belongs to Alexis Harris, and we spoke about how good she was in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said in the halftime show, she's going to continue to shine in the second half. She looks good today. And there you see she opens the second half with a bucket.
And LaFaro comes right back at the other end with the floater. And Nick and I have spoke about it in past broadcasts, Andrew, how good and how adept she is with that floater.
Yeah, and LaFaro, that was a key basket to come right back after the opening basket for the Lightning for LaFaro, especially with that nice floater of hers to make it a one-point game again here a minute in to the second half.
And what a play there by Izumi to throw the ball off of Alarcon along the baseline as the officials will converse with the clock operators. I think they're going to reset the shot clock back down to 17 as the Dolphins never had possession. So the Lightning will inbound with 17 to shoot, 9:17 on the clock in the third quarter. That's Izumi in the corner, up top to Round. Now Seltzer gets a screen, and she will step back into a deep two. No good, and once again Harris on the offensive glass couldn't finish as that ball is tipped out of bounds by Goldey-Beacom, and a couple of upset Lightning players following that call.
Unfortunate play for the Dolphins. They're going to get a chance to come back and take the lead, their first lead of the second half. And it's going to be big here if they can get a basket.
Dolphins led for much of the first half. As LaFaro tries a three, and that is good. Lizzie LaFaro puts the Dolphins back in front by 2.
And no better way than from downtown to put you up for the first time in the half. Lizzie LaFaro, nothing but net for 3.
As we have a turnover at the other end, and the Dolphins quickly get possession right back. But the Dolphins have been leading for about 2/3 of this game. They've been in front for about 11 and a half minutes. The Lightning have spent 5 minutes and 16 seconds with the lead. Dolphins with a chance to increase that lead right here as Arvello has her pass tipped into the CSI bench.
Yeah, nice catch there by assistant coach on the Dolphin side. Keep it out of the stands.
And we have an offensive foul called against CSI, so that is another Dolphins turnover, as that's of a different variety than what we saw in the first half. A lot of errant passes by both teams, but a turnover nonetheless, as it also picks up a team foul for CSI as well. Both teams with 1 foul against them here in the third. And that one nearly banked in by Stevens, but the rebound goes to CSI, and once again they have the ball up 2 as we have a foul well beyond the arc committed by Harris. I make that Harrison, excuse me. I think I made an error on my whiteboard. I dropped the first 2 letters of Alexa's last name. That is my mistake. It is Alexis Harrison who commits the foul. This is Arvello with the ball. She's double-teamed and fouled.
Good shot by Arvello to draw the foul there on the double team.
Lightning foul number 2, Monet Izumi.
It's already the third Lightning foul of this quarter, just a little over 2 minutes into the third quarter, so that could put him into trouble late stages of a quarter.
Well, not only do they have 3 team fouls in this third quarter, but Izumi picks up her third personal, so she heads to the bench as Arvello is whistled for the charge. We now have 5 foul calls in this third quarter.
Christina Arvello, third personal foul, second team foul.
And that's Arvello's third as well, so she will take a seat.
And the tight D for Goldey-Beacom coming through that time as the ball goes the other way.
There's another Lightning turnover as the Dolphins didn't get a chance to get Arvello off the floor, and Alarcon moving far too quickly to finish that layup. She overran the basket as the Lightning now have it, a chance to tie or take the lead once again. Entry pass to Stevens, and that is way too easy.
Textbook play there by Goldey-Beacom to tie the game back up again.
Dolphins nearly turned it over as Arvello tries a corner 3 short. Masinge unable to come down with the offensive board as she couldn't land with the ball. That's a foul against the Lightning, and they now have 4 team fouls.
Lightning foul number 24, Brianna Seltzer.
Dolphins will now get Arvello to the bench after she picked up her third personal. She's replaced by Ashley Lambert.
And the Lightning just one foul away from being in the penalty already here in the third quarter. That could be a game changer here.
This is Lambert, floater off the front rim, and she tips the rebound to herself, saves it, but LaFaro couldn't pull the ball in. Now a scramble for it on the floor, and jump ball is the call. Possession will stay at this end of the floor with the Dolphins. We spoke about it earlier in the game, Andrew, how important it has been for the Dolphins to get to the free throw line in their games, and they've been attacking the basket aggressively, fighting for rebounds here in this third quarter, and it's paid off.
Absolutely. Like we said, 4 fouls already that they've drawn.
That's number 5.
And that is number 5. So Dolphins already going to the line, it seems, in the bonus.
That's just a terrible foul. If you're Goldey-Beacom, with the Dolphins dribbling the ball well over 30 feet away from the basket, and if you're going to give the 15th foul, that is not a situation where you want to do that, but LaFaro can't make them pay as she misses the first free throw. One more from the line for Lizzie LaFaro, and that puts the Dolphins back in front by 1. So Seltzer up to Round in the corner. She drives baseline, and she dribbled it along the baseline out of bounds.
She runs out of space there. Fortunately for the Dolphins, they get the ball back once again.
That's 18 turnovers for Goldey-Beacom. And right now, that is the one statistic keeping them behind in this game. Johnson gets a screen from Alarcon. Masinge drives baseline from the corner as Alarcon was fouled, and it looked like Sarah Round may have jammed her finger trying to tip that pass down in the corner. As she shakes out that left hand.
Second personal foul.
The foul charge to Azuri Abraham. That's her second. As Alarcon goes to the line for 2 and hits the first.
And being in the bonus, like we alluded to, for now 6 minutes and 27 seconds of this third quarter. These free throws are going to be big for the Dolphins.
Another 1 of 2 trip to the line for CSI. Their lead is 2 points. This is Round in the corner, and she knocks down the 3. So apparently that finger not too much of an issue, as Round has both Goldey-Beacom 3-pointers in this game.
Much needed 3 for the Lightning to get back in this one.
That puts Round in double figures with 10 as LaFaro is whistled for the charge following that made floater. Tough call there for the Dolphins.
A lot of unhappy fans on that call. A lot of unhappy faces, I noticed. Not a lot of people agreed with the call.
Bit of a biased hometown crowd here in the tank as this game is being played at the College of Staten Island, but unhappy nonetheless as the Lightning now with a chance to add to their lead, playing from in front by 1, and a quick whistle on the jump ball as possession will stay with Goldey-Beacom. Ten to shoot for the Lightning. They will inbound from the baseline. Seltzer to throw it in up top. She has Williams now on the left wing. It is Round, and that's another jump ball. Possession back the other way.
Interesting play. You don't see that every day. The ball gets stuck in between the rim and the glass on a 3-point shot.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that, Andrew, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's the 3rd time we've seen it this season. And it may have happened twice in one game. I think it was the opener. I think it was the opener against Wilmington that Nick and I called. As we do expect Nick Durst to return to the broadcast for the new year at the very latest, with Lambert receiving that pass, an unorthodox pass from Kaya Johnson. Lambert grabs her own rebound off the miss, can't finish. Now grabs another offensive board. This is Masinge on the drive. Kick out to Johnson. Johnson fake pass, mid-range shot is good.
Great relentless play there by the Dolphins. Just relentless on the ball. and they end up coming up with the 2 points, and they just would not stop until they got it.
So the Dolphins now back in front by 1 as these two teams continue to play a very back-and-forth game. Very quickly, speaking of our colleague Nick Durst, we do expect him back at the latest by the new year, hopefully Friday, as he will be away from us, of course, for tonight's broadcast and tomorrow's broadcast as well. Not sure who will be on the call alongside me tomorrow, but rumor has it that Sal Caruso just might be making his season debut over here at the commentary desk. So you'll have to stay tuned and wait and see. But 2 to shoot for Goldey-Beacom. That's Seltzer on the step back, and she knocks it down over LaFaro.
Brianna Seltzer for 2.
Big play by the Lightning there at the shot clock buzzer. And this game just continues to be back and forth here.
As we have a violation on the inbound by Lambert, and that is not the first time we have seen that this year, as Lambert had a toe inbounds, and you can't do that. As the Lightning, leading by 1, get another Dolphins turnover. This is Seltzer, left wing 3, and that is good once again over the outstretched arm of Lizzie LaFaro.
Some capitalization here on the turnovers by the Dolphins to the Lightning. And now they're up 4 on the Dolphins, so Dolphins need to wake up a little bit here in the late stages of this third quarter to get back in it.
This is Masinge on the drive, and she finishes in traffic. What a move by Noemia Masinge.
And a great answer at that.
Ahead of those last 2 makes by Brianna Seltzer, she was really struggling. Was one of her first 9, now 3 of 11, as Mickey Williams hits the pull-up. Nothing but net for Williams, and the Lightning back out in front by 4. Offenses have come alive for both sides as Lambert is fouled and can't convert on the layup.
And once again with the laser vision down low to find Lambert. And Lambert draws the foul for the 2 shots.
Number 4, Lexi Weichart. First personal foul.
The foul was charged to Lexi Weichert. For Weichert, that is her second. And we will have a media timeout. So the offense for both sides coming alive in this third quarter as the 2 teams going back and forth right now. It is Goldey-Beacom College leading the College of Staten Island by 4. 3:22 remaining in the third quarter.
You can stop to make sure someone is okay. Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Notify an authority.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates, our friends, and our classmates.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy, but it's on us
to intervene.
because we can. Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
And we are back from the College of Staten Island, and this has been a very entertaining game to this point. The Lightning of Goldey-Beacom College leading the College of Staten Island Dolphins by 4. And Andrew, you said it during our halftime show. These 2 teams going back and forth. That has been on full display here in the third quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. And still, with 3:22 to go in this third quarter, you still only have a 4-point game. I don't think we've seen a deficit more, or a margin rather, more than 8 points this entire game, which has been rare this season for the Dolphins. They've been keeping it real close in this one, as they're real hungry for this win today.
Well, you're absolutely right, Andrew. The largest lead for CSI in this game has been 8 points, and this 4-point lead, the largest for Goldey-Beacom in the game, as Ashley Lambert will head to the line and try and chip into that lead. She does just that with that first free throw, but to my point, ahead of the break, the 2 offenses really beginning to come to life here in the third. 14 points on the board for the Lightning, 12 for the Dolphins. CSI 4 of 9, including 1 of 2 from beyond the arc. The Lightning 6 of 11, nearly 55% from the floor, 2 of 4 from downtown. That's Harrison out into the mid-range for Gardner. Fight for the rebound on the floor, And once again, we have a jump ball called, and possession will belong to CSI.
Getting in the dirty areas once again of the Dolphins, and they come up with the ball again.
CSI will inbound from the baseline. Chance to tie or to take the lead on this upcoming possession. This is Johnson. She's now double teamed by Harrison and Gardner. That was Masinge looking for Alarcon, and we have another foul against Goldey-Beacom underneath.
Chance for the Dolphins here to get this game tied up. 2 big free throws here, under 3 minutes to go in this third quarter.
Lightning foul number 4, Lexi Whitecard. Second personal foul.
Weikert with her second personal. Goldey-Beacom in the penalty, and Alarcon can't capitalize from the line on that first free throw. That last foul, the 8th foul committed by Goldey-Beacom in the third. As Alarcon goes 1 of 2 from the stripe, the lead down to 1 for the Lightning. Feed inside to Harrison, working against Alarcon, and she powers her way right to the rim to put the Lightning back up by 3.
Very strong play there by Harrison to get the bucket, and the answer for the Lightning to go back up 3.
20 to shoot for CSI as Masinge throws the ball away. That pass way too high for the cutting Alarcon, and once again, turnovers really hurting CSI as they now have 5 in this third quarter.
And a little bit of a miscue there on the pass. And they need to get their positioning down here and get something going in the Lightning end.
Good idea. Poor execution by CSI. As that is Weikert on the drive, and offensive foul is the call. Bodies flying to the floor in the paint, and once again, the Dolphins able to force a turnover, and we will have a substitution as Brianna Seltzer comes right back into the game for Goldey-Beacom.
Third personal foul.
Just over 2 minutes to play in quarter number 3. Goldey-Beacom ahead by 3 as Lambert gets it into Johnson. Johnson working against Julie McCarron. And another foul is called against Goldey-Beacom. That's number 9 in the quarter.
And a lot of pressure right off the inbound. And it does not work out for Goldey-Beacom as they take another foul and send the Dolphins to the line again.
Well, I mistakenly said that last foul was 8 and that this current foul was 9. The last foul was 9. This is 10. As Johnson buries the first free throw, and they would be in the penalty in a 20-minute half with 10 team fouls. Still 2 minutes on the clock here in this third quarter. So the Lightning perhaps paying for that full court press as the pressure they've put on CSI has resulted in them picking up 10 team fouls in the third quarter.
And it seems as if Goldey-Beacom beating themselves a bit here.
Well, that certainly helps as they knock down another three-pointer. That was Mickey Williams. And for Goldey-Beacom, they are now 3 of 5 from beyond the arc in this third quarter. This is Lambert, left corner 3, too strong, and rebounded by Seltzer. .20 on the shot clock as Seltzer looks to get the offense set for Goldey-Beacom. Perhaps more of an isolation look as Seltzer couldn't finish, but off of another offensive rebound, it is Alexis Harrison yet again.
Alexis Harrison in the dirty areas down low. Another offensive rebound leads to more second chance points for the Lightning. They go up 6 here, under a minute to go.
Biggest lead of the game for Goldey-Beacom as Lambert is ruled to have stepped on the sideline. The Dolphins bench can't believe it. Lambert can't believe it. And with that, Goldey-Beacom now has a chance to go up by 8 points and match the largest lead for either team. If they hit a 3, they will have possession of the largest lead in this game.
This has got to be a big stop for the Dolphins here.
Williams nearly made it back-to-back threes. That one rattled out. Dolphins with a chance to go 2 for 1 if they put up a shot right away. And we have a whistle and a foul. Once again, will be charged to Goldey-Beacom. So that affords the Dolphins the potential for a 2 for 1. Going to be very close with 32.4 on the game clock and 30 on the shot clock. But not to be lost is that the Dolphins get back to the free throw line with the clock stopped and another chance to chip into this lead.
And these free throws becoming vital at this point for the Dolphins as they're getting many chances at the line.
Dolphins have attempted now 12 free throws in this third quarter. They've hit 9 of them. The Lightning have not attempted a single shot from the line, as that is ruled off the foot of Seltzer and out of bounds off of Goldey-Beacom. So the Dolphins quickly forcing another turnover by Goldey-Beacom and will have a chance to cut the lead down to potentially just a single point.
And the pressure is coming back here for the Dolphins. They need to capitalize and get some points back up on the boards.
6 turnovers for CSI, 5 for Goldey-Beacom. 11 seconds on the clock as LaFaro threw up an air ball on the floater attempt. Masinge battles for the rebound, and she is fouled. This is really incredible, Andrews. I'm not sure the last time I saw this many fouls committed by one team in any of our women's basketball contests.
Especially in a 10-minute period of time.
Masinge does not get the roll on the first free throw, so the deficit remains 4 for CSI, and now Masinge has one more upcoming from the line. The Lightning will have 6.2 to get a shot off following this inbounds pass. They roll it in. LaFaro look to put a little bit of pressure on. 4 seconds left in the quarter. This is Seltzer dribbling to the rim, and the Dolphins with a huge letdown at the defensive end as they allow Seltzer to pick up the ball and go 3/4 the length of the court for an easy lay-in. The Lightning will take a 5-point lead into the fourth. Our score after 3, Goldey-Beacom College 52, CSI 47. The final quarter of this NCAA Division II women's basketball matchup on the other side of this break.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor. It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
Car is damaged? Where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447.
And we're back from the tank. Fourth quarter about to get started in this non-conference NCAA Division II women's basketball matchup. Lightning leading the Dolphins by 5 as CSI went into the half trailing by 1. They were outscored by 4 in the third as we have a travel to open up the final quarter. And how fitting is that, Andrew, as we continue with the recurring theme of turnovers by both teams?
Yeah, and another fortunate turnover for the Dolphins, especially to start this fourth quarter down 5. They needed something like that to get the ball back, and they're going to have to capitalize here and get to come within striking range. They already are.
And the Dolphins give it away at the other end immediately as a sloppy start to the final 10 minutes of this game. This is Seltzer working against LaFaro. She drives, kicks into the left corner. Mid-range shot was attempted from the corner by Janisa Varela. And if I'm not mistaken, that's her first attempt of the game. She got the roll, and the Dolphins now trail by 7.
So welcome to the game, Varela, for the Lightning, as she gets a big bucket for them early stages of this fourth.
So Janessa Varela quickly making her mark up on the scoreboard as we immediately have a foul against Harrison, and the Dolphins will head right back to the free throw line. In that third quarter, Goldey-Beacom attempted 7 more shots than CSI, when CSI actually won the battle on the boards in the third. However, the Dolphins had 14 free throw attempts in the third quarter, and if it were not for those trips to the line, CSI could find themselves down quite a bit in this game.
Absolutely, it's what's keeping them in it right now, and they need to get back to that smart early on play that they had when they were shooting and having success earlier in that first half.
Singay goes to the line and hits a pair for the Dolphins. They are back within 5. Feed inside to Stevens. Kick out to Seltzer, left corner. She drives baseline and once again finds Stevens wide open for the mid-range jumper.
An easy mid-range J there for Stevens for an easy 2 points for the Lightning, and you got to have a little bit closer coverage than that if you're the Dolphins in the defensive zone.
CSI will inbound from the sideline as Lizzie LaFaro heads to the bench for CSI. Following that last torn, Jenelise Alarcon back into the game. This is Christina Arvello, defended by Varela, well beyond the arc. Now Masingay. Masingay driving to her left, kick out. Left corner 3, Arvello. Too strong, tipped up in the air and tracked down by Arvello, who saves it to Kaya Johnson.
Good play by Arvello, keeps it alive.
And the Dolphins throw it away. So Alarcon had a lot of room there in the left corner, just a poor pass. And the Dolphins trailing by 7, now seeing every defensive possession looming just a bit larger at this end of the floor. Stevens out to Lahaloma. She feeds it right back inside to Stevens, and the bank shot is good by Stevens as she finishes through the contact and one.
And once again, Joe, I think the defensive coverage has to be a little bit tighter down low than that. I think the Lightning are getting to the bucket a little bit too easy here in these first 2 minutes of this fourth quarter, and that's why they're taking the biggest lead so far.
And free throw is good. The lead increases to double digits for Goldey-Beacom, the largest lead for either team at 10 points, as Lambert barely beats the 5 count on the inbound. Now the Dolphins looking to push. Lightning do get back defensively. This is Lambert. She drives inside. Alarcon was looking to cut. The pass nearly got away as Masingay drives, and Masingay can't finish the layup. But Alarcon grabs the offensive board. 15 to shoot for CSI.
Good recovery by the Dolphins once again, but they need a basket here.
Dolphins with a much-needed second chance as Masingay was fouled. And if the Lightning continue to commit these fouls, the Dolphins may see the door stay open in this game just a bit longer, as right now the Dolphins have struggled to put the ball in the basket. Still looking for their first made field goal of this fourth quarter. The Lightning are 3 of 3 at the offensive end. This is Johnson, mid-range shot, no good. And another foul on the fight for the rebound, and the Dolphins are being afforded every opportunity in this game to stay within striking distance, but I'm not sure about that call either, Andrew.
And these fouls continue to roll no matter what here against the Lightning, it seems.
That was a tough call, that last one, as
Absolutely.
Masinge is blocked. Once again, grabbing the offensive rebound are the Dolphins, and another foul.
Unbelievable.
We were very friendly with the officials in between periods, so I don't want to be too critical at this point, but it seems like every whistle has gone against Goldey-Beacom, and I'm not sure we would have thought it possible, Andrew, but the Lightning are in the penalty even more quickly than they were in the third. Less than 3 minutes into this fourth quarter, they've committed 5 team fouls.
And just when you thought couldn't get any worse in the foul department for Goldey-Beacom, it does. Like you said, earlier than the third quarter, they get into the penalty. And still somehow a 10-point lead. But Dolphins, like you said, they're going to have a little bit bigger of a window in these final 7 minutes now being in the bonus.
Well, that window will close quickly if the Dolphins can't hit their free throws. And right there, Masinge goes 0 of 2 from the line. This is Round over to Williams. Williams will drive to her right, kick out to Round again. Now Harrison right at Masinge, and she is hacked. No doubt about that one.
Using the size to drive inside there and draw a foul for the Lightning. Harrison.
Second team foul.
Harrison's had herself a very good game tonight. And the 6'2" junior looks to add 2 more from the line, as the Dolphins will have to wait for the substitution following the second free throw. And Harrison's second shot from the line is good. So Lizzie LaFaro now can check into the game as Ashley Lambert heads to the bench. Dolphins trailing by 12 points, and the Lightning beginning to pull away down the stretch.
This is the first time we've seen that in this game so far.
Well, if you blinked, you missed it, as we have another Goldey-Beacom foul. This is really incredible, as the Lightning have fouled at an even higher rate in this fourth quarter than they did in the third. And in the third, I believe Goldey-Beacom was in the penalty with about 6:40 on the clock. They've already committed 6 fouls, 6:48 on the clock here in the fourth.
It just seems like every time they touch the ball, they're getting fouled for something here.
And Arvello goes 1 of 2 from the stripe. So the Dolphins have now missed 3 of their last 4 free throws. And every one of those misses costly at this point. This is Round left wide open for 3, and that would have put the Lightning up 14. But CSI coming away with the rebound, a chance to pull back to within single digits as they nearly turned it over. This is Arvello in the corner. Alarcon on the block and is rejected, and then a collision. No whistle there as Harrison and Alarcon came together. Goldey-Beacom comes up with the stop, the rebound, and now a chance to run at least another 15 seconds off the clock if they choose. This is Seltzer from the left corner, and she knocks down the 3.
And just making the hill a little bit tougher to climb are the Lightning with that 3. That's a big one. Making it a 14-point game, 5:45 to go.
Dolphins offense came out completely flat in this fourth quarter, and they turn it over yet again at the offensive end of the floor. For Brianna Seltzer, she now has 12 points. For Goldey-Beacom, 2 of 8 from beyond the arc, and the Lightning have been way better from the outside in the second half. 4 of 8 from three-point range in the last 15 minutes, as Sarah Round could not make it 5 of 9, but we have a foul down low. And the foul, wouldn't you know it, it's against the Lightning yet again.
Number 7, is that, Joe? Already with 5:16 to go in the quarter. So it's incredible how the Lightning just keep fouling, and and they keep pulling away in the score, and this is just something incredible.
Well, in the third quarter, Goldey-Beacom committed 12 fouls. They are now at 7 with 5:16 on the clock, so on pace to surpass that third quarter total. However, in this fourth quarter, they have been rock solid at the defensive end. Dolphins 0 of 5 from the field. CSI has already committed 3 turnovers, and the Dolphins have not made the most of their trips to the line, as they are now 5 of 8 with those 2 makes by Arvello, but it might just be too little too late for CSI. They need stops.
And if you think about how many trips they've had to the line, especially in this second half with all these fouls on the Lightning, I mean, the score should be at least a little bit closer than it is right now. I mean, they need to capitalize on those free throws that they just haven't today. And that's the reason for the big deficit right now with 5:05 to go.
Speaking of fouls, Christina Arvello just picked up her 4th personal, but for the game, the Dolphins have attempted 28 free throws to only 11 by Goldey-Beacom, yet the Dolphins still trailing on the scoreboard by double digits. As Williams will try a 3, that is short off the front rim. Fight for the rebound, it squirts away, and we have a foul. This time it is against CSI underneath.
Now Dolphins catching their fair share of fouls.
They have 14 fouls, as that whistle will send us to a media timeout. When we come back from this break, the Dolphins trailing by 12 points, perhaps the door closing quickly on CSI here in the fourth quarter.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
And we're back here on the ECC Network, and we spoke about it several times already in this game, and ahead of the break we were talking about it yet again, but it is not often that you see a team with 28 free throw attempts to only 11 by the opposition, trailing by double digits. But right now that is the position the Dolphins find themselves in with 4 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. And for the Lightning, they got it right at the offensive end really late in that second quarter and then into the second half, as they're now shooting 44% from the field. The Dolphins only 37%. So Goldey-Beacom using that to their advantage. Also second chance points favoring the Lightning, as the three-point shooting now distinctly favoring Goldey-Beacom. They just knocked down their 6th three-pointer of the game. CSI with only 2, and the Lightning now have their largest lead of 15 points.
And that's a big one for the Lightning. I mean, with now 4:18 to go, now pulling away at 15-point lead, it's going to be a little tough for the Dolphins.
That attempt no good by CSI. The follow by Alarcon no good. And CSI needs to be just about perfect the rest of the way to have any shot, as the Lightning have really broken this game open in the fourth, and they nearly extend their lead even further as that rattles out from Seltzer. On the break is Masinghe, and she was fouled underneath and will head to the line for 2. But for Goldey-Beacom in this game, I mentioned that last three-pointer, their 6th. They're still shooting sub 25% from downtown, but the Dolphins only with 2 made threes. And for Goldey-Beacom, 2 threes belonging to Sarah Round, 2 for Brianna Seltzer, and 2 more for Mickey Williams. And that has been enough to give them the advantage from long range in this game, as the Dolphins miss another free throw. CSI down to 62% from the charity stripe in this game.
Not something you want to see, especially with all the fouls you've been awarded in this game, all the chances you've been given at the line. That's not a number that you want to have.
And for Masinghe, that's her second 0 of 2 trip in this fourth quarter alone. This is Williams on the drive. Thought about the pull-up, instead kicks out into the right corner, and Weichert stepped on the sideline. So the Lightning turn it over, but there may not be enough time left for CSI in this one, as with 3.5 minutes left, the Dolphins trail by 15.
As you said, Joe, fortunate turnover for the Dolphins, but it doesn't seem like there's going to be enough time, as they can't seem to convert on anything here.
And another foul is called as Lambert couldn't finish what looked like an easy layup. She will head to the line for 2, but
Foul for 32, Jordan Gardner.
we've been speaking about the turnover issues all night. The two teams have combined for 42 turnovers, 22 by Goldey-Beacom, 20 by CSI. We mentioned also early in the first quarter how often the Lightning were rotating players in and out of the game. They've gotten 21 points from their bench. The Dolphins only 9. However, CSI does have a small rotation. Dolphins in this game have only played 8 players, as we have a timeout on the floor. So Andrew and I will head to break. Dolphins trailing by 13 in the closing minutes of the fourth quarter.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dine-in order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we're back on CSI Sportsnet. Dolphins trailing by 13 points. As we approach 3 minutes to go in this fourth quarter, Dolphins need a stop every time down at this end of the floor and likely need to score at the offensive end for all of their remaining possessions. 8 to shoot for Goldey-Beacom. This is Round looking to drive, and a good look inside is no good, but on the putback, once again, it is Alexis Harrison.
And her size just seems to be unmatched down in the paint, as she keeps getting those offensive rebounds for the second chance points.
Quick 2 at the other end for the Dolphins as Jenelise Alarcon lays it in. Harrison now 7 of 10 from the floor. She has 10 rebounds, a double-double, 19 points, 10 rebounds, 2 steals, a block, and a pair of assists for Harrison. Another great night for Alexis Harrison. At the top of the show, we spoke about how well she was shooting from the field, and remarkably, that percentage will increase with tonight's performance, as there's a nice rejection by CSI inside. LaFaro can't finish the floater, grabs her own miss, is down on the floor as she lost the ball, and it will be Lightning basketball with just over 2 minutes to go. And my mistake, it will be Dolphins basketball, as I'm sure the officials pointed the other way, but maybe had a change of heart. 15 to shoot for the Dolphins. This is Arvello. Back to Alarcon. She drives right baseline and gets right to the basket, laying in with the left hand.
Jenelise Alarcon for 2.
Dolphins trail by 11. They're pressing here. And nearly coming away with the steal were the Dolphins, and the Lightning barely got it across half court in time, as they now have the opportunity to run 12 more seconds off the clock. This is Seltzer against Lambert. Kick out. Weichert back to Seltzer. Left corner. 2 to shoot. Step back three-pointer. No good. And rebounded by Lahaloma. And that should do it. As any hopes of a comeback for CSI evaporating with that offensive board by Goldey-Beacom.
And the offensive rebounds continue for Goldey-Beacom. That's been another successful aspect of their game today.
And Seltzer didn't hit the rim on that last shot. So we have a shot clock violation, and the Dolphins will have it with an even 1 minute left in the game. But you said it, Andrew, offensive rebounds, a big part of the reason why the Lightning have stayed in front for almost all of the second half. They had 17 offensive rebounds in this game, 13 for CSI. That disparity was much greater earlier in the game. Second chance points, however, favoring Goldey-Beacom 14-4. The Dolphins did have the advantage in points off of turnovers. They had 20 to the Lightning 16. But in what was a very sloppy game for both teams in the first half and early in the third quarter, one team cleaned up their play, the other team did not.
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. And, the Lightning, despite all the fouls taken in the second half, they continued to put the ball in the basket, especially in the three-point department, as it was a night and day comparison from the first half to the second half for three-point percentage for the Lightning.
It sure was, and in that third quarter, Goldey-Beacom 10 of 18 from the floor, 3 of 6 from downtown, really began to break things open in that third quarter, and the Dolphins weren't able to recover. They were only outscored by 4 in quarter number 3, but have been outscored by 6 here in the fourth. And you could see it at the end of the third quarter, Andrew. Momentum was really beginning to shift in favor of Goldey-Beacom, and the Dolphins simply could not turn things around with them shooting the ball very poorly in quarters 3 and 4.
Absolutely, and all the missed free throws doesn't help one bit either for the Dolphins, as they had a lot of chances at the stripe. All the fouls.
Another easy basket inside for the Dolphins, and that's something else that CSI has really been lacking in this game. Not many easy baskets in the paint. CSI in this game thoroughly outscored inside, and that brought the scoring in the paint a bit closer. Before that, it was a double-figure advantage for Goldey-Beacom. The Dolphins with 26 points in the paint, the Lightning with 34 points in the paint. But you said it, Andrew, the Dolphins not really making the most of their opportunities from the free throw line. That was the one distinct advantage for CSI on the stat sheet. 20 of 32, not terrible, but not enough in this game.
Absolutely, and you have to capitalize on those opportunities. Those are gimmies. Those are freebies. I mean, you have to sink those. And being down 9 and with the disparity of the fouls in this game, and it's incredible stuff. And it's something that the Dolphins really are going to need to work on.
It really is incredible, Andrew, as the Dolphins have attempted 32 free throws in this game to only 11 by Goldey-Beacom. And have to go back and double check. The Lightning have attempted 3 free throws in this fourth quarter, did not attempt a free throw in the third. So they had 8 attempts from the line in the first half. But it does not appear as if that will make a difference, as the Dolphins do force a turnover, still trailing by 3 possessions, and a layup doesn't really help them much, as CSI will call timeout, trailing by 7. So the Dolphins not rolling over, still playing this one all the way out until the end, but with down 3 possessions with 33 seconds left, it still appears as if it will be too little too late.
It might just be, Joe. They're giving Goldey-Beacom a little run for their money here in the final minute of this game, but, they're still down 7, like you said, 3 possessions, and it's going to be tough to come back, especially with that defense Goldey-Beacom has been putting on today.
It sure would be incredibly difficult, as not only has the Lightning defense really stepped up their game in the second half, forcing the Dolphins into sub 40% shooting in each of the final 2 quarters, but there's simply not enough time up on the clock, and the Dolphins will need to force at least 1 or 2 turnovers, likely more than that, to get back into this game, though. The Lightning could open the door from the free throw line. The next foul the Dolphins commit puts them in the penalty, as the Lightning do get it in. Dolphins not fouling, and that effectively ends the game, as the Dolphins letting valuable time run off the clock. I'm not exactly sure what they're doing, but they get the turnover. I'm not sure why the Lightning passed the ball, as LaFaro is fouled. So if you're Goldey-Beacom, why are they trying to pass the ball around in that situation? Just hold it, force the Dolphins to foul. Otherwise, there's 3 seconds left in the game.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff there. I'm not sure what all the passing was about there for Goldey-Beacom. They should have just held on, and now they're going to make this. Dolphins are going to try and make this game even closer than what Goldey-Beacom was expecting just moments ago.
Well, LaFaro hits the first free throw, and Dolphins now within 2 possessions. I almost question whether or not you missed this on purpose and try and squeeze another possession out of this trip, but they won't do that as LaFaro knocks down the second. And if the Dolphins can get another turnover here, this game gets a lot more interesting. According to the scoreboard, CSI has 1 timeout remaining. That last timeout, called by Goldey-Beacom, was their last. So the Lightning will be able to advance the ball following that timeout. They have to get it in here, obviously, as a turnover in this spot could send the Dolphins onto a fast break with a chance to make it a 1-possession game. We'll see if the Dolphins foul immediately, which they likely will have to, if the Lightning get the ball in, or try and force another turnover.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, the Dolphins still have that 1 timeout left to use, so that they could use that in their,
2 free throws for the Lightning ices the game. That is without a doubt. If the Lightning can go back up by 3 possessions, this game is over. If they go 1 of 2 from the line, the Dolphins could advance the ball on a timeout, and then a 3 would make it a 1-possession game. As I'm not sure I'm going to have much luck talking over John, our PA announcer, but CSI with a tough road to getting even or taking the lead, but not impossible, as it appeared it was just less than a minute ago. Lightning get the ball in, Dolphins immediately foul. So about 2 seconds come off the clock right there as Goldey-Beacom heads to the line. 2 shots for Sarah Round. If she can make them both, this game is effectively over. If not, the Dolphins have 1 timeout to use as they choose. First free throw, no good. So this thing still interesting down the stretches. Another miss here puts the Dolphins in a position where they can pull back to within 1 possession on a 2. And Round goes 0 of 2 from the stripe. And now, Andrew, things a lot more interesting.
Absolutely. Those are 2 free throws the Lightning needed to make. And now it's just a 2-possession game. 15 seconds left. The Dolphins use that timeout. Try and get something going here. And it's going to be an interesting final 15 seconds of this game.
And I would have called you crazy if you said that less than 2 minutes ago at this point, Andrew.
Absolutely.
But here we are, as I'm going to go back and check the play-by-play and see when the Dolphins last trailed by double digits. It seems like that was just a minute ago or so, but the Dolphins not giving up on this game, to their credit. The Dolphins, with 1:54 to play, trailed by 11. They did not pull to within 9 until there were 46 seconds on the clock. So the Dolphins trailed by 11 with under a minute to go in this game. That Goldey-Beacom lead is now down to 5 points. Possession belongs to CSI. And you have to think the Dolphins will diagram a play on this inbound. The only question is, will that play be to get a 2-pointer or a 3-pointer? Any basket here makes it a 1-possession game.
And it's going to be interesting to see what game plan the Dolphins draw up here to come within 1 possession.
They throw it into Masinge. Lambert, left corner, is double-teamed. LaFaro, open 3-pointer, too long. And the Dolphins do get the rebound, nearly turning it over. But time is running out as Lambert tries the 3, and with 0.8 on the clock, the Lightning inbound. and we will see if the foul was committed in time. And they're going to take a look at it, as we will see if there is any time left on the clock following that last foul. So, Andrew. All right, let's take a look. Andrew, don't trim off the end there. They need that. You don't trim from the end. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're doing. Go ahead. So we're trying to walk the officials through this.
Cut.
So what you see is what the officials are looking at. This is the entire sequence as I was communicating with Andrew to my left. So now we're going to begin to slow it down as the foul occurred on the inbounds pass. So now 0.8 on the clock. The inbound comes in. All right, we're going to back it up for the officials, and they will get another look. So we apologize for the silence as we were trying to walk the officials through that last replay. But they get it right, as there will be 0.2 on the clock. So after a lengthy review, not enough time for the Dolphins to attempt a jump shot remaining in the game. So this is effectively over with CSI having no timeouts. Heading to the line will be Janiah Stevens for 2 shots. But again, the Dolphins have no timeouts left, so they cannot score without a tip-in. 1 free throw ensures that the Dolphins cannot tie, barring a foul. And Stevens knocks down the first. So that will do it, as it was highly improbable the Dolphins could get a tip-in this situation anyway, Andrew. But the officials get it right as they come over and check on that last foul. And it's 2 points from the line for Stevens. And that inbound, just a formality, as the Dolphins nearly got that one to go. LaFaro with a half-court attempt that did not count. And our final score tonight, the Lightning of Goldey-Beacom College 71 and the Dolphins 67.
Yeah, and Dolphins made it a little bit close here in the last minute, as Joe alluded to earlier. They were down by a margin of 11 points, and they came with just within 4 here to finish. So they made it interesting in the final, but not enough, of course, as the Lightning come out on top of this one.
So CSI will come up short for the 3rd straight game. They have now dropped 3 in a row, and they fall to 2-5 on the season. For the Goldey-Beacom College Lightning, they snap a 3-game losing streak and improve to 4-6. So before we sign off, Andrew, I want to thank you for joining me on tonight's broadcast. You came on short notice. We only got word to you a couple of days ago. Thank you for coming on, and I hope you enjoyed your debut here on CSI Sportsnet. We also want to thank Louis Matrone, who was our engineer both during the pregame and at halftime, so a shout-out to Louis as well. So for all of us here from the College of Staten Island, this has been Joe Foreman, and until tomorrow night, we thank you for watching. Men's basketball on the schedule for tomorrow as the Dolphins take on Felician University. That game will tip off at 7 p.m. CSI Dolphins men's basketball right back here on the ECC network. Tomorrow, if you can't attend the game, be sure to join us right here for that broadcast and enjoy the rest of your Monday night.